go. Hey, nice to see everybody today. I hope you're doing okay. It is super hot here in Texas, so I'm really glad that we're doing indoor piano activities today. So I'm glad you could join me. This first part of the lesson, we are going to be focusing on Enya's Only Time. And we had our first lesson last week, so today is the second lesson. But before we jump into our music, let me just give a little list of reminders. If you don't mind sharing this video, that would really help. When I get shares, like just hitting that button at the bottom and sharing it with your network, it really does expand my reach exponentially, so I can reach even more people. So if you don't mind doing that, I would really appreciate it. The second thing is if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, I encourage you to do so. That way, if you miss any lessons or you need to go over something again, you have those videos at your disposal when you need them, okay? Just search Izzy Chia and you'll find me. The third thing is go ahead and join my private group. I have a whole variety of piano learners in that group. It is called Encore Music Makers. So search for it and hit the request to join button, and there's a few questions you can answer, and I'll let you in, okay? And then the last thing, of course, is if you haven't purchased your music for today's lesson, I will post in the comments and also in the description of this video the link to purchase the music, okay? All right, well, without further ado, let's get started, okay? All right, so I've got my music here, of course, in my file folder, right? And last week we had learned the first 13 measures of this music, okay? That's about one page and about another line and a half. So I'm going to see how it goes. I'm just going to play through it. It might be okay or might not be that great, but that's all right because I didn't get as much practice as I wanted this past week, but I'm hoping to change that for this week. So let's just see how we are, and then we'll dive right into this stuff that's new for this week. So this piece is in E flat major, and we have the super duper low E flats, okay, that we're starting off. And our left hand is way down here. Our right hand is actually in the bass clef as well, okay? So I'm going to just play it very slowly because I don't really know how it's going to sound. All right, let's see how it goes. 1, 2, ready, play. Goodness, you're gonna have to forgive me. I should have circled that low A flat. You know what I'm gonna do right now? See my pencil? Okay, so the last line of the first page, the very first measure, that low note down with those ledger lines, that's an A flat, and I'm writing it really big here. So I don't make that mistake again, huh? And then I know I have it one more time here on page 2, so I'm gonna write that also. Now, if you didn't make that mistake, kudos to you because you did better than I did. You know what? It's just a testament to practicing is progress, right? And if you didn't get as much practice as you had hoped for this past week, then you might be making similar mistakes as I am. But that's okay. You know, you live and you learn. So anywho, we are going to be adding on the rest of page 2 for today, okay? That is starting where we drew the double bar. That's the middle of the second line where it says dee-da-da-day, dee-da-da-day, right? So starting right there with that C. That's measure 14 if you want to write a 14 on top, okay? And we're going to do 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. All the way till it has that repeat sign at the end of page 2. Okay? So that's what we're going to learn today. I hope you're ready. All right. Any comments? Let's see here. Oh, I don't see anybody. If you're there watching, go ahead and write a comment so I know that you're listening. Okay. So when we dive into this section here at measure 14, we're going to start by learning just the right hand, okay? We can start with that middle C, okay? C, E, F, G, and then it's tied. And we will keep going there, all right? We have a little bit of 16th notes coming in towards the end of measure 20, but I think we'll be just fine. So let's see if we can just play through the right-hand section, all right? I'm going to switch to piano view so you guys can watch. Okay, so starting there at that D-da-da-day, we're going to start right there. All right, remember, you're going to be reading that sort of middle treble staff. You're not going to be playing the vocal line. You're going to be playing the piano line in between, okay? So make a note of that. Hey, Catherine, glad to see you. All right, so let's start right there in the middle. I'm going to count off. 1, 2, ready, play. Tricky there towards the end. My finger slipped too. I'm sure you guys heard it. My finger slipped into like an F sharp and it sounded kind of not so great. But that's okay. Let's see if we can try playing that section once more just to familiarize ourselves with it. And then we will extract a section, probably measures 19, 20, and 21. We'll do some drilling on that section for the right hand, okay? All right, let's see how that goes. Okay, so we're starting here with that middle C, and I'm going to count off. 1, 2, ready, play. Tied, note. Tied, note. B flat triad, B flat triad, third inversion. Section. I just feel like it's a nice resolution to like all the amazing stuff that they're adding here in E flat major. So very cool. All right, so take your pencil. All right, I want you to look at measures 19, 20, and 21. That's effectively the last line of page 2. And we're going to drill this section. So I'm going to write some little brackets. Okay, I keep writing where the vocal line is. That's confusing. If it's confusing me, I bet it's confusing you too. Make sure you're drawing your brackets around the treble staff of the piano line, okay? Not the vocal line. There we go. That's a lot better. I wonder why I was so confused. Okay, so we're going to drill that line, okay? And I think perhaps we play it 5 times. Let's play that line 5 times, just the right hand, okay? So we're starting there with that C and F, all right? We're going to hold that thumb C down because it's a whole note through the whole measure, all right? All right, I'm going to count off, and then we're going to play it 5 times. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2. Yeah. Okay, so that was 1. If you also notice that it's kind of hard to reach those notes, go ahead and slide your fingers up on the keyboard a little bit to where the distance between the black keys and the white keys is not as far. It's a little bit easier for your fingers to reach. Okay, let's play that last line again. This will be time number 2. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2. So that was the second time through. Now let's see if we can do it a third time, okay? Also, if you notice at measure 20, the B flat and the D, those are also whole notes. So you got to hold them down like glue while you're playing the entire measure. It actually ends up making it a little bit easier. So let's start there, the last line of page 2, right hand only, okay? 1, 2, ready, play. So now we have 2 more times to play this through, okay? Let's try it again. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2. 2, 3. Awesome. Okay, last time, everyone. You can do it. We're almost there. All right, 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2. 2, 3. Awesome work. Yes, it was tricky. But I think once we figured out those tied notes, it made a really big difference in, I guess, the way I thought about it. Because if I'm holding down some notes, then I know that the melodic line in the right hand is going to be very much dependent on my finger 4 and my finger 5. My finger 4, of course, like any other pianist or piano learner out there, is my weakest finger on my hand. So the more practice that I give playing notes with my finger 4, the stronger it's going to get. So keep that in mind as you're playing, okay? Very nice. Okay, so now if we go back to measure 14, okay? Let's look at the left hand. I'm going to analyze this section just for a little bit so I have no surprises. So I see that I am beginning here with an octave C. Okay, I can totally do that. Then it goes down to an A flat. So I'm going to write an A flat under there so I don't make that mistake again, huh? Then we have a B flat, E flat with some 8th notes, and then back to C. Last line we've got A flat, so let me write that again. Knowing my luck, I'll probably miss it, but that's okay. Then we have a B flat, and the last measure is the B flat with some 8th notes. Okay? Everybody feeling good? Everybody with me? I know I have a few people watching, so that's a good thing. Awesome. Okay, so let's go to piano view, and let's just see if we can play through the left hand section there, okay? We've got, starting there at measure 14 with our C octave, okay? Let's give it a try. 1, 2, ready, play. 2, 3, 4, down to A flat, 2, 3, 4, B flat, 2, 3, 4, E flat, with you guys. The left-hand section here, it's just a matter of being the strong foundation, right? The foundation underneath the melodic line in the right hand. So it needs to be solid, right? Because we have this melody over it that needs to be projected clearly to the audience. So let's see if we can play through the left-hand section once more. I didn't necessarily find any left-hand section that was really difficult, but if you find that you need to practice the left hand separately, a specific section, by all means drill that section that you find difficult, okay? So I'm going to play through it once more. Measure 14 to the end of page 2. All right. Okay, so I am here starting at a C octave. All right. Everybody there? Wonderful. Okay. We ready to go? I'm going to count off. 1, 2, ready, play. 3, 4, down to A flat, 2, 3, 4, to a B flat, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, down to A flat, 2, 3, 4, up to B flat, 2, 3, 4, B flat, F, D, that was beautiful. I can tell it's going to come together really, really nicely in this section, okay? Now, back over here. I'm going to try and attempt just this group of measures, 14 to 21, hands together. But I think I'm going to bump the tempo down even slower. The reason being is that at the end of page 2, we have a repeat sign. And that repeat sign is like a bouncy, a boing. It bounces you back from there all the way to the beginning. But it doesn't go to the very beginning. It goes to the beginning of the verse. So you're not going to be playing the introduction again. So in order to do the navigation just right with that repeat, I would like to practice that transition. So that way we have it as smooth as we can possibly make it, okay? If you need to put some like indicators or pencil marks in your music, I like to draw stars, or I put like little stickers, right? So I'll draw a star at the end of page 2, okay? And then at the beginning of the verse, right? That's on page 1, line 2. So put a big star or a sticker. I might end up putting a sticker because I like stickers. And plus I have some really cute ones. So that is sort of a pencil mark that when my eye catches it, I know, boom, find the next star, right? So when I repeat back, I just go straight to the star. Okay, that's a little tip to help you guys. Okay, so I'm going to start there at section 2, measure 14, hands together. Wish me luck. All right. That's why it's called Learn With Me, right? Because I'm learning too. All right, so let's see here. Okay, I think the main thing is that I just need to remember my flats. Okay, so I'm going to count off very slowly. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2. 1, 2. 2. 2. 'Good job. I'm going to give myself a round of applause. Yay, go me. And go you. Right? All right. That's really, really great. Okay. But now you know what I mean about the transition, right? It's not necessarily something that it comes as easily as like, oh, we're just going to move from here up to the next page. No, like your eyeballs have to go from here way back to the beginning, right? So that's why I had you draw the star. Even I got confused when I was looking back. I was like, oh my goodness, what fingers are there and what notes are there? Because it all depends also on where you end up at the end of page 2, where you pick up again at the beginning, at the middle of page 1. Your hands are in completely different places. So you've got to be aware of that before it happens. Okay? Don't let that confuse you. Let's see if we can try that transition again. How does that sound? Catherine, you hanging in there? All right. Let's get started at measure 14. Okay, hands together. Okay, starting on the C, C, and C. I'm going to do that same slow tempo, all right? 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2. 1, 2. 2, 2. Just like doing an amazing job. I'm proud of you. Little by little, it's getting to be easier, right? But the practice has got to be there. I learned that the hard way when I played through, at the beginning of lesson, and it was like, wow, I was making all kinds of mistakes. But that is A-okay, all right? So, okay, so Catherine says, I think it might be helpful for me to have the fingers written on later. Yes. Yeah, you can definitely write in finger numbers for specific passages as you are going through them. Remember, the fingers that I am using for my chords may not be the right finger patterns to use for you. They might be or they might not be. It just kind of depends on what's comfortable for your hand. Okay? But we can definitely go over that. Catherine, go ahead and write that in the private group, and I'll see if I can plink out the finger numbers for some passages, okay? All right. Now that we've gone over section 2 and we've done the bounce back to do the second verse, I want you to focus on that for your practice, okay? That's going to be the main focus for this week's practice, okay? All right, are you feeling good? I hope so. All right, so that's pretty much going to conclude our only time lesson today. I'm going to close my music. And little reminder, I am accepting tips and support on Patreon. So if you find that these lessons have been fun, if you're enjoying yourself, if you're challenging yourself, I would really appreciate the support on Patreon. It's an easy way for creators and musicians and teachers like me to make a steady income. So since I'm a donation-based studio, choose a tier that is acceptable and affordable for you. I have tiers as low as $5 a month. I have $10 a month, $20, and $50 a month, okay? Again, I'm trying to recoup my income from all this coronavirus, so see if you can help me out, all right? I appreciate it. It's patreon.com/IzzyChia. All right. Okay, so I close every lesson with a music quote. All right. And today's music quote for the only time lesson is from Plato. And this is what he says. Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. That's amazing, right? I have that quote actually on my website homepage. I've had it there for about 6 years. It might be time for a website revamp, but that's okay. I love that quote. Music just touches us from every corner of our lives, right? It's pretty amazing. So I hope you enjoyed that quote. All right. And that concludes our only time lesson. All right. Give me just a few seconds and we'll get ready for Westworld. All right. Have a good one.